right, so I'm going to do a little bit of work around the place here. I'm going to put that split unit in I was talking about, the electricity, the outlet I bought yesterday at the supply house here in Ecuador. So we had this prepared because I have a unit over here, but I also need one here because that one's not keeping up. So I confirmed that there is power, but now I need to shut the breaker off. So how are we going to test this? The first thing we're going to do is we're going to turn this ceiling fan off and we're going to remove that picture. All right, ceiling fan is shut off, just stopping. I get myself a nice little ladder, make sure I got good footing as I go up and test the voltage. Now, I'm not sponsored by anybody, okay? I don't get paid for any type of advertisements or anything like that. But I'm in Ecuador, and before I came, and that's one thing great about being American, we have Amazon. Well, they don't have Amazon here in Ecuador. So you need to get yourself a nice voltmeter. This was very cheap. I don't know how much it was, but it was maybe $15 or $20. And what it has is a non-contact voltage tester, meaning if I turn it all the way up, and it says here NCF or NCV live, that lets me know if there's power. So we go up my ladder. Okay, so I've got power on one leg. Now I need 220, so I should have power on another leg. Okay, that looks like my neutral. So, all right, so I got power and power. And then that's either neutral or ground. See, in the States we use different colors. When I see yellow and brown, to me that's 480 volt, but I know here that's not the case. And this is not green if this was ground, so you have to be careful when you're in another country. Okay, so I spent a few minutes and I determined that this is the breaker. So you want to make sure that's off. It's a 2-pole breaker. What we're going to do is go back up and confirm that it's off. Now, you want to make sure that this still is still on. So what I'll do is I'll turn it off and turn it back on again, just to make sure I know it's on. And yep. Now, I did cheat a little bit, guys. Behind the scenes, I did check it to make sure. But I wanted to make a little video. I know it's basic vanilla ice cream stuff, but a lot of the newbies are asking me for a little bit of advice, and that's what this video is for. It's not for experience. This is just to keep you safe. And this is the kind of stuff you want to do around your home if you're interested in electric work. And if you're uncomfortable with this, you know, hey, that's not my field. But if you like it and you do good, maybe you continue. All right. Okay, so this is the receptacle that I picked up yesterday. This is not UL approved. This is made in China. And if we look at it, it's got L1 and L2, meaning line 1 and line 2. You can see it's rated at 15 amp, at 250 volt. And that signal right there is the ground. That's the universal signal for ground. So I'm going to have 3 wires, the 2 hots and my ground. And this cover will snap off. Give me a second. So the cover just snapped right off, and now I'm going to put this guy up. Okay, so I have this cover from the old device that was here, just a blank. So I'm going to remove that and make sure my drill is in reverse. And then this should pop right off, which it does. Now, here's a tool I have. It's a multi-purpose tool. I really like this tool. It's a lineman end. It's also a stripper, and it's multiple use. So what I'm going to do now is prep the wires. So if I take this wire off, there's tape on it. Now let me show you how I strip. Now I know this got no power on it, but let me give you the technique of how I strip it. So this wire appears to be number 12, and if you look at here, there'll be these are all coordinated for the sizes. So a number 12 wire is here. So if I take the wire and I bite down on it, now I'm squeezing all the way, but I'm not cutting the conductor inside because I'm using the right size hole. Now what I do is I will take my thumb and I will actually hold the wire here with my thumb, and I will I'll pull away with this hand, and I'll also use my thumb to give me some leverage to strip it back. Of course, let me bite it a little bit more. It's got tape on the end. That's got a lot of good tape on it. Okay, let's try that again. So that's one hot. Okay, I squeeze it, I bit it, and I'm going to push with my thumb. I'm going to do it again. So I squeeze down, and again, I put my thumb here, and that's really where most of the force is, on my thumb. All right? That was difficult because there was a lot of tape there, and maybe this didn't quite cut through all the insulation. Now, when I put the wires into this, I'm not going to use a drill. Using a drill, especially as a novice or a beginner, you can do a lot of damage to products. You could either strip the screw holes out, you could over tighten it, and you just can't really gauge the torque with a cordless drill. So I recommend you using just regular basic screwdrivers. Now guys, I know what you're going to say. You're saying I only have 12 wire, it was a 30 amp breaker. I get it. I'm in South America, all right? That's just the way they do it here, right? So please, the comments, I realize this would never pass inspection in the United States. It would need at least a number 10 wire as opposed to 12 wire, okay? I'm just gonna end up getting a new 2-pole breaker. I'm gonna put a 20 amp 2-pole breaker on this 15 amp receptacle to make it compliant. Now I need to loosen up these screws to make room for this saddle type connector. I'm trying to do it with one hand here, right? So I'm going to loosen the screw up, and as I loosen the screw, you can see that opening appear, right? And that's where I'm going to stick my wire in. Not all receptacles has these little inserts. Sometimes there's nothing there and you need to literally wrap the wire around the screw. And I can give you a trick on that if you're using stranded wire. I'll show you that later. Let's put this up. Okay, so you don't want to leave this much uninsulated copper. So I'm going to trim that so that the insulation goes all the way in so it's safe behind the box to prevent any shorts. So let me cut that and trim it back. Okay, once I trim it back, this is stranded wire. So I want to kind of spin the strands around to give them a little bit of mechanical connection amongst themselves so they don't spray or splay out. Okay, that's good. Now I also like to use the hole that follows the side to tighten. So it's righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So I'm going to use the right size hole. So as I tighten it, it'll actually pull the wire in. If I went on the other side and I tighten it, it could actually pull the wire out a little bit. Now, you're asking about which wire goes where. Well, the AC is not polarity sensitive. It's not like DC where you have plus and minus, okay? Alternating current. So it doesn't matter which one is L1 or L2. So in this case, I use the yellow as my L2 and my brown as L1 because, boy, brown, orange, yellow. So L1 to me would be the brown, and then there's no orange, and then yellow. Again, that's not the code, but that's just the way I would do it so that if I had to troubleshoot in the panel, I would know, oh, okay, this side is L2 and that one's L1. Okay, so I got my wires in, and I don't have any green tape with me here in Ecuador. So what I did was just took a piece of white electrical tape and I labeled it ground. Now I know what you're going to say. Well, just strip the wire back bare. No, I don't want to do that because what happens if I need a neutral here in the future? Okay, and I don't want to strip that wire back, and I don't have green tape. So, but what I'm going to do is put some tape around here, just like that. Just tape right around it. It's just a nice extra protection. And now we just screw it into the box. Now I'll make sure it's level and snap the cover on and turn the breaker. Stays on, it's a good sign. Make sure you label. Confirm your voltage, make sure you clean up, put the picture back, and bill the customer. The customer only cares if it works and it's neat.